Hello and welcome. You are watching IndianExpress.com. So, a month after Sachin Pilot revolted against Rajasthan Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot, it seems the crisis in Rajasthan has ended for now. On Monday, Pilot met former Congress President Rahul Gandhi and AICC General Secretary Priyanka Gandhi and decided and committed to work in the interest of party and the state. But how this Ghar Wapsi of Sachin Pilot happened in Rajasthan? Our correspondent Manoj CG explains.
Manoj, what do you think? Can we say the crisis in Rajasthan has finally ended? What happened in the meeting between Sachin Pilot and Rahul Gandhi and Priyanka Vadra yesterday?
As of now, the crisis seems to be over, but in a way, it could be the beginning of a much larger crisis in some sense.
Yeah.
It's been a month since the Rajasthan Congress, the Congress government in Rajasthan had been, in the midst of a turmoil. So yesterday, Mr. Sachin Pilot met former Congress President Rahul Gandhi and AICC General Secretary in charge of Uttar Pradesh, although she's not in charge of Rajasthan. He met Priyanka as well as Rahul. The meeting went on for around 2 hours. That's what we have been told. The groundwork for the meeting was laid by AICC General Secretary in charge of organization K.C. Venugopal and senior leader and AICC Treasurer Ahmed Patel. They had been in touch with Sachin for the last 3-4 days. So basically, Sachin listed out the grievances he had with the Gandhis. It pertains to the style of functioning of Chief Minister Gehlot and how he believes that he has been sidelined. That is his view. Because he was the state Congress president as well as the deputy chief minister, but he believes he was sidelined. And one of the main, which is always unstated, one of the main demands of Mr. Pilot was that he wanted to become the chief minister, replacing Gehlot. And the Congress leadership was very clear on that it's not possible as of now, since Gehlot commands enjoys the support of the majority of the MLAs. So all these issues were discussed in detail, and at the end of it, what the Congress offered him officially is that we will set up a high-level committee, which may include Priyanka Gandhi or Ahmed Patel or K.C. Venugopal, the committee will listen to the grievances of Patel and Sachin and the other MLAs. So officially, that's the offer. Unofficially, the Sachin camp claims that there is an assurance from the Gandhis that maybe closer to elections, the whole issue of the leadership, the change of guard can be relooked again. Sachin can be sent as the chief minister. Gehlot can be called to Delhi, giving him an organizational responsibility at that time.
Pilot had been claiming that he was offered the chief minister post even before the Rajasthan Assembly election, but that not happened. He was made the deputy chief minister. Yeah. So what is new this time?
Exactly, because the Sachin camp had been claiming that at the time in 2018, when they decided after the assembly elections who will be the chief minister, this assurance was given to Sachin that let Gehlot take over as the chief minister now. Closer to elections, again the same assurance. We will ensure a change of guard. But that Sachin apparently he seems to be in a hurry. But in the last 1 month, it has also become clear that he has the support of only 18 MLAs.
18 MLAs, yeah. He didn't have the numbers.
18, including himself, it comes to 19. So the support is only 19. In the last 1 month, he could not win away a single MLA from the Gehlot camp. Moreover, yesterday in the morning, there were reports that at least 4 to 5 MLAs from the Sachin camp are in touch with Gehlot. We were told that Mr. Bhavarlal Sharma, one of the senior most MLAs, 7-time MLA in Rajasthan, he was in the Sachin camp. He had reached Jaipur, had a meeting with Chief Minister Gehlot. Another MLA, he had sent an emissary, parties would say his wife, to meet the Chief Minister and convey to the Chief Minister that he'll be loyal to the party. So this contradiction within the Sachin camp, which the Congress says, the contradiction was that at least 6 to 7 of the MLAs were not willing to leave the party, leave the Congress. Many were not willing to join the BJP. Many were not willing to, form a separate party. So this contradiction played out in the last 1 month. So what the Congress sources tell us that is that Sachin could not manage the support of more MLAs, without which he could not have toppled the Gehlot government. Then many of the MLAs were not willing to leave the Congress, so he had no go in that sense. So maybe he thought it's time to strike a deal with the party and reinforce his claims and get some sort of assurance from the party.
But you said in the beginning that the crisis may have ended now, but it may result in a bigger crisis. So can we say that Gehlot has emerged as a clear winner in this month-long old fight? And what crisis is coming? I mean, what is the bigger crisis that you were talking about?
So if you consider this as round one, then Mr. Gehlot has emerged victorious and stronger. Because in many other states we have seen how the Congress has lost governments. So here the Chief Minister has ensured that the party doesn't split. Also the MLAs remain loyal to him. He has managed to say as of now. So of course round one he has emerged stronger. But this whole assurance part, where the Sachin camp believes that later, closer to elections, there may be a change of guard. Of course, Gehlot would be in the loop. He would be aware of it. So this will build up. Many people believe this may build into another crisis or another turmoil.
But in the next 3 years, I mean, the Congress government will there be in Rajasthan for another 3 years. But the problem is that Gehlot has been very vocal critic about Pilot, and he has used very strong words against Pilot. How will Pilot and Gehlot manage to work together for next few years? I mean, till the next assembly.
So the relationship has turned really bitter. The relationship between them has turned really bitter. Calling Pilot words like Nakara and Nikama. It is really impossible for Sachin to work with Gehlot again, because the amount of bitterness, the trust deficit that has come in, it's impossible for them to work together. So as of now, Sachin will not be taking over or going back and joining the government. So he was Deputy Chief Minister. He will not be taking over as Deputy Chief Minister again. He will not be taking any role in the government. And similarly, he may not have any role in the party also in Rajasthan. So in that sense...
So you are saying the state presidentship that was taken away from... So the state presidentship that was taken away from Pilot, it is not going... Pilot is not becoming...
Unlikely to be restored. That is what the Congress sources are telling me. Unlikely to be restored. He may be offered a post in Delhi, an ICC General Secretary and in charge of an important state. That is one offer that the Congress is ready to give, so that you take him out of Rajasthan, and as and when if a succession plan fructifies, as and when it happens, he can go back. So they will not be working together anymore in that sense.
So, and what about the rebel MLAs? Will they be included in the cabinet or not?
That's an assurance that the Pilot camp again claims that they have got. Some of these MLAs will get ministers, will become ministers as and when a cabinet reshuffle happens. Then there are other posts also, to accommodate. There are heads of corporations, boards and all. And when Sachin was sacked as Deputy Chief Minister and State Congress President, along with that the President of the Youth Congress, NSUI, who were all his appointees, they were all sacked. So again, that's an assurance that his camp has got, that people who have been removed will all be rehabilitated and accommodated accordingly.
And for Congress as a whole, and for Congress as a whole, the national leadership is the credit for solving this crisis goes to Rahul Gandhi. I mean, he has been silent for so long, and suddenly the meeting happened between Pilot and Rahul Gandhi, and now everything looks okay.
That's typical Congress. The groundwork is of course made by the likes of Ahmed Patel and K.C. Venugopal. Yes, Priyanka Gandhi Vadra did play a role, and all this has taken place with the minister. But that's typical Congress. You have to show that the leader is Mr. Rahul Gandhi is very much in the loop. He is working behind the scenes. That's typical Congress. That's perception management.
The BJP, on the other hand, played smartly. Officially, BJP leaders never said that they wanted to pull down the Rajasthan government. Maybe they have taken a lesson from the Maharashtra episode. Our correspondent Liz Matthew explains BJP's role in this whole Rajasthan drama.
Liz, it seems that Gehlot has managed to save his government from being toppled by the BJP. What role the BJP has played in this crisis, the month-long old crisis in Rajasthan so far? How do you see this?
See, BJP has been claiming that they are not involved in this. They feigned complete ignorance about it, and they pretended that they have been just waiting and watching what is in the Congress camp, and they said it is an issue within the Congress, internal issue, and two sides are fighting with each other. So we have nothing to do with that. After the first 2 days, we have seen that these, the involvement, in the sense, the fact that the tapes have come out, audio clippings have come out of this thing, although BJP is denying it. So it was very clear that there is some kind of involvement and a kind of statement BJP leaders, not Vasundhara Raje, but others. Shekhawat, the Union Minister, Shekhawat, and other BJP leaders have been the statement they are making, and they were taking sides with Sachin Pilot. They were very sympathetic to Pilot and the rebels, and they were making Gehlot as a villain. And also, then later we have seen, they have moved to the rebel MLAs, have moved to BJP ruled state. Obviously, we know that that definitely has some kind of significance in it, and see that then the Sachin was, and they've even the senior BJP leaders even welcomed Sachin. So when things were going not in the way they wanted or they thought, the BJP again started distancing, but central leadership definitely kept a distance against the national leadership of the BJP.
Yeah, was it because Sachin Pilot couldn't manage the number that the BJP was hoping? I mean, earlier Pilot claimed to have the support of 30 MLAs, but it kept reduced to 18 only. So was it the number factor?
Yeah, of course. BJP has seen that he didn't have the numbers. That is why the BJP did not take any role, and they advised the state also, you deal with it, and the center is not getting involved. We know that even in the case of Madhya Pradesh, the central leadership was in touch with the top leader, which was Jyotiraj Scindia, but there was nothing was coming out. But only when he left the party, and announced his leaving, the BJP's role was very clear. The same way they wanted to play here also, but they realized that with their sources and the intelligence bureau and all, they came to know that he is not likely to have the adequate to pull down Ashok Gehlot government. So then the publicly party again we have seen that after that, when it was very clear that even the other leaders who were very also started keeping silence over it.
How do you see the role of Vasundhara Raje in this whole episode? I mean, it's very evident that the central leadership has some differences with the Vasundhara Raje in Rajasthan. How do you see? Did Vasundhara Raje made any effort to rope in Sachin Pilot in BJP or something? How do you see Raje's role in this crisis?
See, Vasundhara Raje's differences with the national leader, especially the former party president, is well known. There is not much secret about it in the party or even outside the party circles. Vasundhara Raje has solid support among the MLAs in the state. So the party is actually helpless when it comes to, take stringent action or something against Vasundhara Raje. She has a very strong hold over the state unit. But the state president and other senior leaders have been having differences, and they did not even hide it. Even an ally of the BJP came out and blamed Vasundhara Raje for it. But for Vasundhara Raje, we have seen that she has not been even in staying in Jaipur. She remained in Dholpur, her constituency. And the party senior leaders have obviously communicated their disapproval to what Raje has been saying. Raje obviously did not take any to pull down the government or even support Sachin Pilot. The BJP leaders believe that Raje is having a very good, healthy rapport with Ashok Gehlot, and she did not want him to be, to be thrown out of power. But Raje in the Raje's clarification, which she had given during her visit to national capital. And during which she met both Mr. Jayaprakash Nadda and BL Santosh, organization secretary, that she was staying away just to avoid mischievous comments from the state leaders, and the state leaders have not been cooperating with me. They did not keep me in the loop. And also she says that I knew that there won't be enough support, and we would get its image will get dented if you put our hands into it, poke our nose into this, what is happening. And if only Sachin can, and then only BJP should have intervened. And the BJP's even if it is a behind the screen role, it became public, so it would damage the party. So her stand kind of vindicated when it comes to the latest development. But at the same time, Nishant, BJP is saying that it is not the end. And obviously we know that this is a temporary truce between Gehlot and Sachin. Obviously Gehlot is not going to keep quiet, and he is not going to give what Sachin wants. So that thing will be there, and the manifestation will come out in future also. So BJP will keep trying, and other than this little bit of loss, BJP did not even lose much, because as long as their MLAs are together and they keep the flock together, they did not lose much in the game.
Well, that's all for now. For more news and update, keep logging on to IndianExpress.com.